It starts out slow with go ahead and go, and pretty soon a melody is like a rainstorm tin roof symphony. It starts out slow, goes on and on, far away to it always ends on a bad note. If you could dance it all, you dance alone. Goes on and on. The quiet behind the slamming door, the break of a heart that won't break no more. Get away winds in a straight line, serenade of a maid of mine, of a maid of mine. There ain't no rhyme, just wasted time, and moonlight spotlight shining down on a maid of mine. Let a love come wrong. There ain't no rhyme. The quiet behind the slamming door, the break of a heart that won't break no more. Get away wheels in a straight line, serenade of a maid of mine. The quiet behind a slamming door, the break of a heart that won't break no more. Get away wheels in a straight line, serenade of a maid of mine. Woo. Of a maid of mine. Thank you.
Ho ho!
This is going to be the rest of the master class. It's kind of a spoken word thing. I'll just play one song and then I just tune my guitar with the capo on for the rest of the night. No, I'm kidding. People often ask, like, what's the trick for keeping your guitar in tune with the capo on, or capo as you guys say over here, and it never is in tune. There's no trick, just don't bother. You don't need no alibi, and I don't want a long goodbye. You don't need your heartache justified, so just get gone, girl. Just get gone. Oh. And you don't want none of my good loving. You got highway lonesome leaving in your blood. You look your best in green and wanderlust. Just get gone, girl. Just get gone. So go on, leave, make a mess of me. I'll be a tail-lit memory. Yeah, gone like a rock in a downhill rolling stone. Don't look back, don't turn around, don't check your mirrors until the next time. Get gone like a bullet from a barrel of a bottle gun. Just get gone. Oh, get gone. Now I won't cry till you get out of sight. Hit my knees until the time's just right. So get zero to heartbreak wheels on the concrete, sugar, I'll be alright. Just get gone, ooh, just get gone. You go on, leave, make a mess of me. I'll be a tail-lit memory. Get gone like a rock in a downhill rolling stone. Don't look back, don't turn around. Check your mirrors until the next time. Get gone like a bullet from a barrel of a borrowed gun. Well, just get gone. This is the part of the song where there's a guitar solo. It's just not really quite the same without the band, so instead I just kind of talk about it a little bit. About now, the band is quite loud, and the guitar is quite fuzzy. It's awesome. And if you'd like to hear that for yourself, I've got albums for sale just over there. They're only 10 great British pounds. And if you want, I'll even put my name on it. My name's actually already on it, but I'll write it myself. It's definitely worth the money, though. Go on, leave, make a mess of me. I'll be a tail-lit memory. Get gone like a rock in a downhill rolling stone. Don't look back, don't turn around. Check your mirror until the next time. Get gone like a bullet from a barrel of a borrowed gun. Well, just get gone. Just get gone. I won't cry. Hit my knees, darling. Thanks. Hi, Donna. What What do you guys think? Do you want to start talking, or do you want to hear some more songs? Okay. Shred? Get out.
We saw you in that live next.
I was paid a lot of money to do that. I'm kidding, I was not. This is a brand new tune. This is going to be on my new solo record, which is coming out either in November or February. I realize those are different months. It's just the way it's going to go. We could turn these wedges down a little bit. I think they want to feed back a bit. I'm asking too much of this situation here. This is for my friend Katie. She likes to cry.
You say that it's over, that you're moving on. The song in your head keeps playing on and on. This bittersweet melody calls you back again. But somehow you always forget. You always end up crying, chasing a love that's dying. You always end up on your own, lied to and alone. You always end up crying.
This next verse is really good, but I can't remember it right now. It'll come to me. Just hang out for a second. This is C minor. It's D flat major 7 to E flat major. I got it.
There's something about letting somebody let you down. You don't gotta push when you're getting pushed around. Don't gotta run, don't gotta hide it. No matter how hard you try, you always end up crying, chasing a love that's dying. You always end up on your own, lied to and alone. You always end up crying. You end up crying, crying, crying. You always end up crying, chasing a love that's dying. You always end up on your own, lied to and alone. You always end up crying, crying. You end up crying, crying, crying. You end up crying, crying, crying. You end up crying.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Any questions?
Comments, concerns, feelings? What tuning was that? Sorry? What tuning was that? What tuning? Open C. So it's, yeah, this guitar is, it's kind of my tuning of choice. So open C major, which is, it's basically the same thing as an E chord, but just open and down 2 full steps.
What guitar is it?
This is a Sorokin gold top, wrap tail, and it's modeled after a 54 Les Paul that I could not afford. So I hired a guy to make one, and it was a lot cheaper. Yeah. Throwback pickups in it are wound on the same machine that the 54 was wound on, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of, I mean, at the end of the day, it just sound like pickups in a guitar, but it's just the mojo is kind of cool, you know? Any other questions? What's that? Only when I'm forced to for money. This is the 2-Rock Bloomfield Drive, which is my favorite amp on the planet right now. And I have this exact same one at home.
That is it.
That is not it. Is that it? Wait, have you been to my house? This is not actually it. Mine has a red jewel. That's how you can tell them apart. I should bring it over next time and play both of them at the same time.
When you move from standard to open C, how long did it take to like adjust?
Originally it was open E at first, which you know, position-wise and stuff doesn't make a difference, but it's kind of been my life work in a way, my life's work, to sort of make the transition over. I'm now at a point where I'm much more comfortable in this tuning than I am in standard tuning, but there's certain areas that I've still yet to cross over, but you know, it's still like. You know. I'm joking. You don't. I don't do that.
What strings are you using?
The big fat ones, 19 to 65. These are string. You're such nerds. But it's tuned down 2 full steps, so they're still heavy, but it's not like this is tuned to standard pitch. That would probably wreck the guitar if it was. But it's about the equivalent of 13s. So it's heavy, but it's not, you know, it's not as crazy as Stevie Ray did in his heyday. Yeah. Anybody else?
You play slide on that guitar?
What's that?
You play slide on that guitar?
I do, yeah. Yeah. Do you want to hear some?
Yeah.
Okay. very much. Is there any songs you guys want to hear? This is a free-for-all, guys. We can do whatever we want. We can talk about guitars or pedals, or you can request songs, or we can just talk about life together.
It's a song by How to Vote.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't played this one in a long time, so the chances that I forget lyrics are very good.
If I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. If I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. We could all together go out on the ocean. I said, me upon my pony on my boat out on the sea. If I were Roy Rogers, surely I'd be single. I couldn't bring myself to marry an old dale. It'd just be me and Trigger, go riding through the movies. We go out and buy a boat on the seas we'd sail. If I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. And if I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. And we could all together go out on the ocean. I said, me upon my pony on my boat out on the sea. Mass Mystery Man was smart. He got himself a Tonto. The Tonto do the dirty work for free. But Tonto, he was smarter. One day said, Kemosabe, you better kiss my ass. I bought a boat, I'm going out to sea. If I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. If I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. We could all together go out on the ocean. Me upon my pony on my boat out on the sea. Now if I were like lightning, I'd surely need no sneakers. I'd come and go wherever I would please. I'd scare them by the lamppost, I'd scare them by the shade tree. I will not scare my pony on my boat out on the sea. Out on the sea. Out on the sea. If I had a boat, I'd go out on the ocean. If I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. Oh, and we could all together go out on the ocean. Me upon my pony on my boat out on the Me upon my pony on my boat out on the sea. Me upon my pony on my boat out on the sea. Thanks. Thank you so kindly.
Where are things at with the bros a minute?
Where are things at with the bros? We just finished a record. Finally made a second record so that I can talk about the last record by saying the last record, as opposed to just saying the record. That is how plural works. Yeah, so it's done. It's just being mixed right now, and we can probably expect some touring in late next year, early 2020. I'm putting out a new solo record, so that's going to sort of take the precedent next year. But it's coming. It's coming. I'm excited about it. There's some good songs on there. Yeah. Anybody?
Can you play the song about the rocket ship?
Yeah, sure.
What's it called?
Back to Thee. I wrote it for my fiance because I've only ever written songs about girls that I broke up with or who broke up with me, and I never. What's that? There's not that many actually. There's really only two. There's just a lot of songs about those same two people. It was a hard time in my life. I was in my early mid-20s and everything hurt so bad. You can tell by the songs that I wrote. It's funny actually. The first time I played our record for a dear friend of mine, and she listened to the whole thing. She went, "Holy shit, are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I am. Now that all that's out." I wanted this to kind of sound like an old church hymn, but I'm not really particularly religious, so I wrote it for the love of my life instead. Take my hands if you need some hands. Leave my legs, my darling, so I can stand. And take my heart, I never cared much for its beat. Leave my legs for me, darling. Leave my feet. If you need space, I'll build you a rocket ship. You can dance around the sky. You're always staring at it. Oh, and take my dreams, because without you there's no need. Leave my legs for me, darling, and I'll walk my way back to thee. Yeah. Take my eyes, I don't need them to see the most beautiful one. Splits my rent with me. If you need space, I'll build you a rocket ship. You can dance around the sky, take down a star while you're at it. Oh, and take my dreams, because without you there's no need, no. Leave my legs for me, darling, and I'll walk my way back to thee. Leave my legs for me, darling, and I'll walk my way back to thee. Leave my legs for me, darling, and I'll walk my way back to thee. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Yep. Yes? Cool. Let's do it. I have to let you in on this thought because I thought how funny it would be if I accidentally farted when I went to touch my iPad. I had to share that with you because I'm 9 years old on the inside.
If I'm lost, come and find me. If I forget, would you please remind me? And when you're sad, feeling weary, I'll show you love, you'll see it clearly. We may never know what's coming around the bend, but we can manage the weather if we do it together. No matter the weather, you know we're better together. When it gets cold, without warning, lean on me when your feet are dragging. And when we're on, the lines are showing, we'll know that stuff has never stopped growing. We may never know how our lives are gonna change. We can manage the weather if we do it together. No matter the weather, you know we're better together. And hard times make way for the good times. Like cloudy days give way to the sunshine. We can manage the weather if we do it together. No matter the weather, you know we're better together. You know we're better together, no matter the weather. We're better together.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Come on, let's get into it.
Can you tell us a bit about how you got into playing, who inspired you?
Oh, yeah. Well, my dad was a musician when I was growing up. And so I think that's if your dad's an insurance broker, I think you want to be an insurance broker, maybe? I don't know. So that's kind of where it started for me. Was my parents and all of my parents' friends were musicians. Where did that come from, by the way? Yeah. So there wasn't really a time when I wasn't going to be a musician. It was just kind of what I was going to do and how I was going to do it. But my first real love was Stevie Ray Vaughan. I think like a lot of us, yeah. Where you just kind of go, how the hell does anyone make a guitar sound like it's in so much pain? Yeah, and that was kind of my first introduction into having someone make music emotively, you know, in a way that was tangible for me. And that was what drew me to Stevie's playing was I didn't even really notice that he had great tone for a really long time, you know. And when I was a guitar player, I never tried to make my guitar sound like his. I just wanted it to feel like his, you know, emotionally. And it wasn't until much later that I realized, like, oh, he was always changing pickups and always changing the controls and, you know, which amps were on at which times and, you know, stuff like that. It was the complexity of what he was doing was much more than I realized, but that's what drew me to him initially. And then I really got into Miles Davis. Was kind of like the next thing, which then led me to Robin Ford, and then I was really big into Robin Ford, and then after Robin was Mike Landau, and then and it's just kind of bounced around. But it was players that I was never really interested in. I was always really captured by like the emotive players more than the technicians. Not that I don't have respect for it, but that side of music has always been the thing that just sort of has its hooks in me, and I can't. I love hearing players play the shit out of their instrument, but at the end of the day, like a beautiful chord progression or a well placed thing will get me 100% of the time. So, yeah. And nowadays, it's kind of the same thing. I'm listening to a lot of players like that. I listen to a lot of Sonny Rollins. I listen to a lot of songwriters. I always tend to listen to a lot of songwriters while I'm making records. It's just kind of the weird thing. I think it's just like when you're in a certain headspace, you kind of crave a certain kind of music. So there's a songwriter named Andy Schaff, who's another Canadian guy his record is so weird, but it's just really got me. Yeah.
Do you write on electric or do you write on acoustic?
I don't really think about it too often. It's not something that I do deliberately. I think I'll write on electric if I've got an electric in my lap and I'm plugged in. If I don't, then I'll grab an acoustic. I don't prefer one over the other. It's just sort of, although with that said, like sometimes a tone will inspire me to create something, so then I'll chase that down. But generally speaking, I don't really tend to gravitate towards parts. I sort of treat writing kind of like a composition. So I write the harmony on the guitar and the melody with my voice, and then the lyrics sort of come in around the same time. But I'm not really specifically thinking, okay, then when I go to the chorus, I'm going to play this tone and this register here. It's just the skeleton is there long before all that stuff happens. And I like to create that stuff kind of on the fly. So, generally the recording of a song starts with the bed track, drums, bass, guitar. Usually the guitars get replaced. Less and less these days. I'm doing a lot more recording, so I'm getting better at sort of leaving stuff down on the track. But yeah, that's a big part of the creative process for me, is just inventing stuff as you go. I really like that. I'm a pretty organized guy in my everyday life, but musically speaking, I like to just wing it as much as possible. Yeah. Anybody? What's that? Yeah, which one do you want to hear? Okay, well, I'll play this blue one because it's blue. This one is quite a bit brighter. The Firebird pickups are spiky, but in a cool way. And it's tuned to D. The gold one's in C, this one's in D. That's the bridge pickup. Yeah, it's pretty cool. This one's very jangly, so I tend to kind of do a lot of that kind of stuff on it. And then the Bender guitar is really, really great, but it's kind of temperamental, and I love it. But I think the nature of the beast is it just doesn't ever want to stay in tune, which is probably my fault. Somehow. But the pickups in it, they're made by the guy who makes these guitars, and they're really nice sounding pickups. And then the bridge pickup is this thing he calls a wee 90, which is like a little P90. So it's kind of chunky, but also spanky at the same time. But yeah, so I wrote the main part for my newest tune on this guitar. And then the solo, which is it's so hard. Ah. Yeah, so it's pretty fun. It's pretty wacky. What? Okay.
It feels so hard to tell the truth. I keep it locked away, up against the wall, up against the night. It's not fair, it's not right. I can't let go of your hand, though. I can't let go of your hand. Forgiveness, I need it. I wish I was strong enough to hold it. Forgiveness, I confess. Can't bring myself to turn to the light. Burning the candle at other end. It's all that I can do. If I stop moving, then the questions loom. Drinks and pills to clear the room. Can't let go of your hand, though. Don't let go of my hand. Forgiveness, I need it. I wish I was strong enough to hold it. Forgiveness, give me witness. Can't bring myself to turn to the light. Is it for me or for you or for them? I can't tell. Forgiveness, I need it. I wish I was strong enough to hold it. Forgiveness, give me witness. Can't bring myself to turn to the light. Turn to the light. Turn to the light. Turn to the light. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
What inspired that?
What's that?
What inspired that?
That.
Guitar part and the words, or did you write it?
No, the song was written first. It was funny because I just got off this tour with a three-piece band, and we've been the whole premise of this record is I've written and recorded everything with the drummer and the bass player with the band, and we had this thing called Song Club back at home where you'd write a song every week and you had to submit one every Sunday, and if you didn't make the deadline, then you were out. And the rules were it doesn't have to be good, it just has to be done. And you have to finish the song and record it and put it in a Dropbox folder, and then everybody goes and listens to each other's songs. And that was my first Song Club song, and I had written half of it and just needed to get it done for Song Club. And it was Sunday afternoon. I was like, shit, I'm going to be the guy. They're like, get this like half famous guy to join Song Club, and then I'm already gonna be out in the first thing. Typical. I was like, no, I gotta finish the song. And so I wrote the second verse and the bridge in an hour kind of thing. Was just like, just get it done. I didn't even like it. And then I recorded a demo of it, rough, in my bedroom, and sent it off. And then Roman was like, oh man, I really like your Song Club song. I was like, really? And then I listened over it again and was like, hey, I really like my Song Club song. So just one of those things, it was kind of interesting. But yeah, I started with the first verse and the chorus. I had that. What's that? I don't do Song Club. I haven't in quite some time, just because it stresses me out, especially when I'm on the road and know like, oh, there's a deadline coming up and I can't. So, but as soon as I get off the road in December, I'm going to be joining up again. So.
Can we join Song Club?
What's that?
Can we join Song Club?
Anyone can join Song Club. First rule of Song Club is don't talk about Song Club. No, I'm kidding. Of course you can. What's that?
You play Greenhouse.
Yeah, for sure. I'll play it a little after. Yeah.
I was just going to ask, what makes you go for custom-built guitars rather than off-the-peg guitars?
I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of collaborating with someone on something, and it's been a while since I've picked something up off the wall that's really kind of spoken to me. But I also don't. It's definitely a feel thing. I think you can kind of get behind anything. If you like it enough, you can kind of make it work. I mean, a perfect example is, are you familiar with Jack Pearson? He's a great Nashville. Well, actually, I don't think he's from Nashville, to be honest. Anyway, he took over for Dwayne Allman and the Allman Brothers, and he's a terrifying guitar player. And the punchline to his joke is that he plays a Japanese Squire, and it's a piece of junk. But when he plays it, it's the best Strat you've ever heard in your life, So, but to get back to the question, I think every guitar in the rack kind of has a story, and I like that. Like this guitar sort of was born out of the guy who makes these also makes metal body resonators, and it sort of started out. He said, "Oh, I'm going to build these tellies," and I saw one of these guitars with this bridge on it, and I said, "Oh man, well, like, how much would it cost to have you build me one of those guitars?" And he said, "I don't know, you probably can't afford it. Like it's a lot." And then one day the guitar just showed up. It was just like, there you go. And I was like, oh man. So now it's just it's just got this lovely story behind it. And he still hasn't told me the price. So I'm hoping that I can get off scot-free. But but then this gold top also has the whole journey of fight. So I like the idea of going to somebody and saying, this is what I'm after. Can we work on that? I mean, there's amazing guitars everywhere, and I always tell people, like, in fact, a lot of people have asked, like, should I go and buy that guitar, the guitar that you have? And I always say, no. You should go and play a bunch of guitars. Figure out what you want, and if you want to commission someone to make you something, then you can go in it knowing, I want it to feel like this. I want, I've played a million of these guitars, and these ones aren't as resonant, but this one was really resonant, so I'm looking for this kind of quality. Or just buy the one that you like. There's all kinds of ways around it. But yeah, I think buying a guitar is a really personal thing. You gotta connect with it. So.
How many have you got? The Red 335 style?
Mm-hmm. The Collings.
Oh, those Collings.
Yep. Was that the question? Okay, cool. Yeah, it's Collings I-35. Yeah, it's a beautiful guitar.
I wanted to ask, so you said you started as a guitarist.
Yeah.
And you seem to be at ease in any different situations. Solo, band, guitarist,
Yeah.
songwriter. How do you handle all of that? Is there a scenario that you like the most?
Is there a scenario that I like most? No, I mean, I like creation. I like making stuff. So, you know, if I'm playing a lot of shows, if I like, for example, the tour that I'm on right now has got just under 60 dates. So by the end of that, I'm not going to want to play any more shows. You know, I'm going to probably want to write some songs or jam with some friends and just do something that's totally different. You know, I love the creative process, and I think that's probably where those things have come from. Is, you know, when I first started touring on my own, I didn't want to just stand up here and I wanted to create something that I was going to enjoy doing, and hopefully people would enjoy listening to. And so the process of creating a show that I enjoyed playing, you know, it wasn't like, oh God, I got to do this solo gig. You know, I really enjoy it. And when I'm playing a lot of band shows, I miss the solo gigs. And then for the same reason, when I'm playing a lot of solo gigs, I miss the band gigs because it's a totally different thing, you know. So that process, and then same thing with singing. It's, you know, it's another thing. I like to make stuff. So, yeah.
I think that completely comes through. But are there any sort of collaborations out there that you really have for or always
Like with artists?
Yeah, other artists and stuff like that. I mean, sort of dropping out the road, you've got sort of that with Meg and Rowan and sort of stuff. Are there any other artists out there that you'd like to?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I haven't put much thought into it, to be honest. I really should. I mean, I do love collaborating, and I was just telling my friend Katie earlier, like, you know, everything from like the people who are designing the album art, you know, is a collaboration to me. I go, here's this music that I've made. What does it inspire you to create? You know, that kind of thing is also very collaborative. But particular artists, oh geez, I mean, I would jump at the opportunity to play with any of my living heroes. Bonnie Raitt would be pretty cool. I don't think that'll ever happen in my lifetime.
What about Adam Scream?
Sorry?
What about Adam Scream?
I think he's probably pretty unreachable as well. He's cool. I like his music a lot. I haven't really connected with his records. I haven't spent enough time with it, but yeah, he's really cool. He makes a good sound. I'd write a song with him if he'd write a song with me. I don't think he would. I think I need more tattoos.
Could you play like that before you started playing it?
What's that?
Could you play harmonically speaking? Could you play that the way you play now before you started playing it?
No, a lot of my harmonic pursuit really, I mean, I've always been interested in chords far more than scales and modes and soloing and stuff. I've always been really into chords and inversions and harmony and stuff like that. But I think my understanding really sort of grew deeper with the open tuning, because I had to kind of reinvent the way that I looked at the guitar, you know, starting with like the only thing I knew about open tuning is that if I do this, it's a major chord. And so from that was like, okay, well, if I drop the root down a minor third, I get the relative. So then there's my one chord, 6 minor, 4, 2 minor, 5, 3 minor. So from the 1, 4, 5, you have 6 of the 7 diatonic positions. And then from there, it just started to kind of build. And so it's like, okay, well, if I know this, then I should learn all the inversions too. And come on, brain. Where are we? And then from there was, you know, taking that idea across a fretboard, but then moving through the tuning. So, you know, if you have then replacing chord tones. So this is the first inversion of a D major chord, 1 3 5 1, and then, you know, and moving through. Mainly from the perspective of a 1 4 5. So if I wanted to play across a fretboard using only the 1 4 5, I could go. And then if those chords weren't doing it for me, then I would start to ask questions about that's mostly using pretty triadic based harmony. So it's not, not really stepping into more elaborate, upper structure type harmony. That's pretty straight ahead for the most part. Just using major and minor triads and inverting them, moving around. I really like that kind of harmony. I love bebop vocabulary very much as well, but I'm not as well versed in that kind of stuff. But I really like that sort of triadic harmony, like the Bach piano concerto stuff. I really like that kind of thing. So I've spent a lot of time tearing apart stuff like that. But yeah, just sort of, I don't know. Does that answer the question? Not really. Yes, I wasn't really playing like that before. The open tuning really kind of helped open my eyes for sort of how to move around a little bit better, harmonically speaking.
So can you translate that back to standard tuning now?
Yeah, well, so this is, I mean, the exercises. Anybody, there's at least one person here who's taken a lesson with me, but this is something I spend a lot of time on. More than anything else, is taking, in this tuning I'm in D, so take an open major, the major triad on the D, G, and B strings. It's really important to limit yourself to which strings you're using for this kind of exercise. So I take the D, G, and B strings, and then I move through the inversions of a 1 chord across the fretboard. So, and by limiting myself to which strings I can use, I have to learn all the different combinations. I can't go, I don't really know this one, so I'll just play it here instead. None of that. You gotta, you kind of uncover all those spots. So you can do the same thing with standard tuning by, taking a root position chord 1, 3, and 5. So the key of E, if you were on the D, G, and B strings, it would look like an F chord, but with the second string be open, second fret, first string, and then, second fret, first fret, and then open. So you go across the fretboard on the 1 chord, and then you do the same thing for the 4 chord. And then I have at the 12th fret here, so then my sequence starts on the second inversion. And the same thing for the 5 chord. And then back to the 1. So, oops. And then the next thing to do would be exploring the next set of strings, but doing it using the same idea. So I want to be, that my touchstones are my chord tones. So I don't want to be skipping ahead. I want to go, okay, where's my next chord tone? So if I'm playing, it's kind of weird with the open strings. So, this is my first inversion, 3, 5, and 1. I take the root off the top and put it down an octave. So then that gives me my root position there. So it looks completely different in standard tuning, but the idea and the practice is exactly the same. And then going across the fretboard, so you can, one thing that I like to do is I'll take this kind of shape and move one voice down and one voice up. So I'll take the root off the top and move it down, and take the third from the middle and move it to the top. So I have it's kind of a piano type voicing. You got root, 5, and third, and then there's a chord tone, basically space in between each one. So I'll do the exact same thing I just did, but with those shapes now. Come on, brain. So again, it's just expanding sort of your understanding of where this harmony is going, and then you can keep going to the same idea. And I'm always looking for triads, those major triads or minor triads, and if you got something more complex, like for example, it's like 13 flat 9 A, so it's like F sharp major, an F sharp minor, sort of combined. So I'm not thinking about. I'm looking for. I'm looking for things that I recognize, like a major triad, for example. So trying to take those more complex chords and simplifying them into sort of bite-sized triadic pieces, you know, kind of tends to make it a little easier to digest. I'm sorry? Yes, it does. Does the B, the G, and the A. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, it's very cheatery. Yeah. I did a little bit of this earlier, but. The cool thing about it too is you can kind of turn it. You can basically turn this into from open D to open G by pushing down the levers. So. Sort of instant Lowell George. Anyway. Yeah. Anybody?
Lowell George an influence on you?
Oh, big time, yeah. I love more his singing and his songwriting. Really, I mean, his guitar playing was genius, but it was so simple. You know, it was like an exercise in how not to have to play. You know, you just kind of like, what do you think about this? You go, yeah, that's all that needed. Yeah. His. Like that kind of thing, I'm a sucker for that. Yeah. There's, in Cleveland, they've got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they've got a small display that's got one of his Strats, and he used the 7/8 socket, and I shed a tear. Like, there it is. Oh God, what is this sensation? Yeah. Anybody else? Any questions? What's that?
Play some more songs.
Yeah. Is there one in particular?
Still Feel Gone.
Still Feel Gone. Oh, you're gonna make me work. Okay. I'm gonna play it on the other guitar though. Sounded like somebody had a. Huh?
How many guitars do you own?
Don't ask me that, man. Come on, what's wrong with you? I own a lot of guitars, but not a lot of really great ones. I've got about, I think, 4 or 5 really, really fantastic guitars, and then a locker full of like cheap beaters that I've found along the way. And those ones number, I don't know, probably into the 30s. But like really, really great guitars would be these 3, and then my Collings and my Suhr. So 5.
How hard can it be to pack a bag up and leave? It's so heavy, so heavy. And how hard can it be to take 2 ends and make them make amends, make it bend? And how many roads can a man drive a van on before he's called back to the one and left alone? She's out there in the night, little darling, it just ain't right. When you hold her, you wonder what's wrong. You still feel gone. You still feel gone. Tell me, what does it take to sleep alone, to lie awake, all wondering, wondering? And how much does it take to find a heart and let it break slowly, completely? And how many roads can a man drive a van on before he's called back to the ones he left alone? She's out there in the night, little darling, she left the light on. Keep driving, you ain't never get home. You still feel gone. 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 You still feel gone now.
Thanks. Any other questions? We're kind of getting close to the end here, I think. Yeah.
What pedals do you use?
What pedals? Lots and lots and lots. Right now, I'm using the Jesse Davy Duelist, which they got some right there. And that's, let me show you. That's this one. So actually, I should do is, this is the amp clean. It's really good. So this is the tube screamer side of Jesse's. Yeah, and then this is the other side. I actually don't know how this is set, so see if it's any good. But so I have that actually set a little bit lower gain. So most of the tour, I didn't have this amp, which has got a great dirty channel on it. So I was using just this guy, which is a clean platform. So this was kind of the slightly dirty, more dirty, and then my personal favorite, fuzzy dirty. And I usually use either I just collaborated on a pedal with a friend of mine, Mythos pedals, so a fuzz face style pedal from him, or one of Jesse's fuzzes as well, which is, his company's called King Tone, which I think they carry them here too, but I think they're back ordered. But yeah, just I like fuzz faces, so any fuzz face you can get your hands on is going to do the trick. The full tone one, John was telling me, is really, really good, and it's not all that expensive. So, yeah, and then what else? I've got two of the Chase Bliss delay pedals. So I've got one that I use for sort of the short and long. This is pretty subtle. And then the long. And then I bought this Therme pedal, which does this. This is the kind of thing where it's like, why would you ever need that? But it just inspires me to do weird things. So, like. Actually, hang on. Just makes weird as hell sounds. It's really fun. But it also does all kinds of... do we want to get into this? No, we don't want to get into this. Just go on YouTube and look up the Knobs demo of the Therme. It'll blow your brain. Yeah, but it's cool. And I always switch up the pedals. Like, I mean, I even on this tour I brought a couple different overdrives, a couple different fuzzes, just because, you know, you play the same songs with the same sounds every night, and eventually you just start playing the same things. And so, you know, again, because I like to be making stuff up, it's important for me to kind of make sure that I've got ways to break those habits, you know. So switching up a pedal is kind of going to change the way that I play and change the way I touch the guitar. So,
Speaking of
yeah.
YouTube, and you know, I personally heard about you through that show. So do you like that community? Do you see any drawbacks of the whole?
I love the community. I think it's really good. My only concern with it is I think a lot of people spend more time watching YouTube than actually playing. you know. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I think we just need to make sure that we're also actually going out and playing, you know, getting gigs and practicing and stuff like that. So I think there's like, I mean, I have friends who make their living, you know, just talking about pedals, which is great and beautiful, but, you know, you've got to make sure that you're actually making music too. Unless you don't want to make music, then who cares? Then that's great, you know. But for me, I would go nuts if all I did was talk about pedals, you know. I got to write songs and play shows and talk to nice people like you.
Could we have better?
What's it?
Could we have better?
Of course you can.
I got lost once. I got lost out in the smoke. All the drinking and the pills and all the shallow thrills. I got lost out in the smoke. When I wandered, I went wandering in the snow. There was no line between the land and sky. Could not trust my hungry eyes. I went wandering in the snow. But I'm better now, somehow. Got a clearer head, and I sleep in my own bed most of the time. I feel better now, I feel fine. I found a woman, I found her standing still, right where I'm supposed to be, holding her right next to me. Found that woman standing still. I'm gonna love her, gonna love her all my days. She's gentle and she's kind, I'm hers and she is mine. Found that woman standing still. But I'm better now, somehow. I've got a clearer head, and I sleep in my own bed most of the time. I feel better now, I feel fine. I feel better now, I feel fine.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, you guys. I think maybe we can do one more question, maybe one more tune, or both, one of each. What's that?
The harmonic thing in the solo, I still forgot.
The harmonic thing. Oh, the beep. Yeah. Everybody loves that. It's really easy. It's if you play a note, a little easier on the bridge pickup, and basically it's like a false harmonic, you know, if you've ever done that kind of thing, but and you just tap the note on top of it, and it's pretty much that's pretty much it. So, oh dang it, yeah, just like that. or yeah. So have fun with that.
What's your favourite song to play?
It's my favorite song to play. There's a new one called Hindsight. Did I play that one already? No. Yeah. Do you want to hear that one? Okay. Are there any more questions? I'll finish with this tune and let you guys get out of here. Thank you so much for.
So I was just going to quickly ask.
Yeah.
You've got an amazing singing voice. Is that like natural, or did you put as much work into that as you did your guitar playing?
I've worked really hard on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always loved singing, and I think if you love doing something, then it doesn't feel like practice. So I think there's a lot of people go, oh, you're just a natural singer. That's not actually, that doesn't exist. Nobody comes out of the womb just singing. Most people come out of the womb screaming. But I've worked on it, and I treat it with the same kind of work ethic that I do my guitar. Voice is an instrument. And you can work on it and make it better. It's hard to hone in on it because it's not tangible, right? You don't hold it in your hands. It's not like if you just put your finger here, it'll sound better, or you're pushing too hard, or you're not in tune. It's much harder to hone in on those things. But if you think about it musically, in terms of like, how would you look at a scale? I'm gonna pick the notes based on the chords that are in the scale. I sing notes based on the chords that are in the scale. In my mind, I pull from the same vocabulary. If I'm going to decide to deviate from the melody, my brain goes, I wonder what it'd sound like if I start the melody on the 9th here instead of on the 3rd, Do, as opposed to do. So 9, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. That kind of mentality. I think about that. Usually not while you're actually playing, but. It's just a part, it's the same thing as you would approach that when you're playing. So anyway. You were right. No. Oh yeah. You were right. I was too young and too selfish, too little, too late. Sorry guys, I gotta get the lyrics for this. But it's honestly my favorite song right now. Oh, I was missing one line. This happens to me all the time. I'm so terrible with lyrics, especially with stuff that I've written. I can't lie, you were right. I was too young to know better, too old not to be in the wrong. But I could have tried, put up a fight. I was too dumb and too selfish, too little, too late to move on. It's easy to look back on 21. Easy to blame it on being young. Hard to believe what's been done has been done. Well, hindsight's all 20s when hindsight is 21.
could have lied one last time. I could have let you believe that I wasn't coming undone. But I'm up all night, 'cause you were right. From the smallest of details to the brittleness of my love. It's easy to look back on 21. Say we can blame it on being young. Hard to believe what's been done has been done. Hindsight's all 20s when hindsight is 21. I'll always be selfish, I'll always be dumb, I'll always be foolish and young. In your eyes I'll always be. In your eyes I'll always be 21. Thank you so much, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks to John and his mom and dad and Peach Guitars for having me. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to pick up a CD, I'll be standing right there, signing them and selling them. So thank you so much.